How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Today I'm going to go over how I became a multimillionaire through Dogecoin. Now, before you get all enamored with cryptocurrencies thinking that you can strike it rich overnight, this is not the case. I very carefully cut out a portion of my investable assets that I am willing to risk, a small portion of it, and then it just happened to grow quite a bit. That pushed me over the $2 million mark. This video is brought to you by Webull. If you just open up an account, you'll get one free share of stock valued between $3 and $300. If you make a deposit of any amount, even a penny, you're gonna get a free share of stock valued between $8 and $2,000. This whole promotion is gonna last until the end of September 2021. Let me bring up my net worth over here. I'm not gonna put the exact numbers because this is not really important. The values of each item is actually labeled on here. You can just really easily see roughly around what amount it is. Let me cover the obvious thing right here because I've invested in Dogecoin. Initially, I put in about $60,000. Right now, it's up to about $75,000 or so. When Dogecoin went up to about 74 cents or so, my net worth indeed spiked dramatically. You can see on the corner over here, it kind of followed my exponential line over here. For like the last 2 or 3 years, it kind of lagged behind. And then because of the Dogecoin investment, it spiked all the way up to, what is it? $2.4 million. But you might kind of laugh at me and say, hey, you could have sold right at the peak. You would have had 2.4 million, but this is not the case. This is somewhat deceiving because if I were to, catch it right at the top and sell it right then and there, I would have had to pay about 40% taxes. This equates to about $250,000. So if I sold, it would have been about $2.15 million that I would have had. Of course, is better than what I have right now, which is around $2 million. It would have been $150,000 more. So you could say, hey, you kind of lost out 150. I still have to pay taxes if I sell Dogecoin right now. So, there are fees if I were to try to liquidate everything right now. If I try to liquidate my house right now, there's going to be like some kind of taxes I got to pay on the capital gains. I got to have to pay real estate taxes. So, ignoring that for now, this little spike for Dogecoin is a little deceiving, and that's all I want to say about that. Going over what the heck all these numbers are. How did I generate such a thing? I made my own spreadsheet. I started this about 12 years ago. I made this spreadsheet 12 years ago, and I've been updating it roughly every single month. Every first of the month, I would go in and log into every single account. It's gone a lot faster these days because I know all my passwords and stuff, and I can just type it in real quick. It might take me about 5 to 10 minutes, of just gathering all the numbers. And I specifically recommend everyone to not get any of those financial net worth apps or anything because you have to concentrate all of your password in one place. And I think this is a huge security risk. So to attack one single person is a lot harder because then you gotta, be specific about every single person. Everybody has their own little way of hiding all their password files. So I feel that keeping my password, really close is a lot safer than giving it to, those net worth tracking softwares. The burgundy line is my actual net worth, including my home. And you can see because of Dogecoin, it spiked like $600,000. You can see every single horizontal line here is $100,000. So it's $600,000. And then it came back down $400,000. So overall, from my investment in Dogecoin is still up about $200,000. So that accounts for two lines over here towards the end. And you can see another 2 lines here, which really comes from real estate appreciation. At the end of 2021, you can see the cost of my home, the face value. I pulled this off of Zillow. It rose about $250,000. Now it dropped back down. So, from the minimum, it only rose about $100,000. So where does this other money come from? Well, A little bit comes from YouTube, and I'd say about $40,000 of it came from my last 3 months of investing in number one, Tesla, and number two, VOO. For about 1 month, Tesla is up about 26%. VOO total is up about 2.3%. Before I did all these investments, the total account value was about 322,000. So it's up about 36,000 in the last 3 months. Pretty good since I'm not really working too much, so that's about $12,000 every single month. Of course, I can't expect this every single month. As your net worth increase more and more, you might want to lean a little bit more on investments, because then this is how you gain the bulk of your gains, and you can sort of live off of this without actually working. So the next line below this is net worth minus the house. So this includes cash, brokerage accounts that are pre-retirement stuff, not 401k or anything, and then you add in the retirement account, 401k, Roth, all those investment accounts. And I also have about $60,000 of non-home personal assets, and most of this is just my car. You know, it's kind of relieving, I guess, to only have very, very little material goods. Like, that's all I have. Like, that's the bulk of my net worth, I guess, because, you know, most of my other things is not worth all that much, other than maybe this camera and this laptop that I have with me. That's a MacBook Pro. you add all this up, it's like, okay, it add a few $1,000s more to the 60K, but that really is all I have in terms of material goods. I've tended to become a more minimalist person, I guess, reduce the amount of things that I have. And the next thing that you see here is liquid assets. Liquid assets is this green line with triangle here, and you know, as you can see, because of the spike, liquid assets is basically cash, my investments outside of retirement accounts, and including cryptocurrencies. That's why there is this giant spike, and then it comes back down and then it goes back up. And let me take this time to explain why I'm invested in cryptocurrencies. Some people think I'm like this crazy nut, like I shouldn't be a financial YouTuber just because I invest in crypto. I should be like, you know, okay, put all your money in total stock market index, Vanguard, S&P 500, and just leave it there and be done with it. My whole theory with investments is that as you have more and more, you should take a small portion of it, which is what I did. I put $60,000 in it, which is, you know, you could say it's about 10-15% of my actual investable assets at the time that I did the investment. Now it's grown to $300,000, but at the time it was, you know, like a fraction of the total. So I'm not risking my entire life or anything. So I put a little bit in. It's a calculated risk, and it happens to work out very well. If it happens to not work out, well, it could go to zero and I lose $60,000, $75,000 or whatnot. Going back to when I first quit my job around the end of 2017, September, around that time frame over here, you can see it's about 1, 2, 3, 4 years ago. My net worth at the time, if you look over here, is about 1.2 million. I only had about $250,000 of investable assets right when I quit. So, you know, you do the 4% rule, I can have about, what, $10,000 to spend. So this is not enough to retire on. But now I have about $900,000 of investable assets. And if you use the 4% rule, which I can't really do it in this case because I don't have all of it in stock market index fund. I risk a little bit of it, some of it in Tesla and some of it in cryptocurrencies. But it turns out, you know, more risk, I turned out to get a lot more gains from it than, you know, the 10% average returns. The next line down is this kind of like purple line with diamonds, or is it a square? Oh, it's a square. Retirement accounts. So it's gone up a little bit. Not as well as it should have been, because, you know, if you invested all your money, if you are invested pre-pandemic and you just held all the way, you would have gained about 30%. And if you look at this chart here, it's 300K. It should have been about 400K if it's 30% up, right? But it's only 350 100K. So I'm not doing as well as someone who held all the way through, but it's actually catching up. So it is what it is. I'd say you have to step back from all of this and just look at, everything I'm doing, including my investments long time ago, like what is the bottom line for the entire net worth? I have gains, I have losses, but if you add it all up, I'm still doing pretty well. I really want to convey for the people that are striving to be millionaires, multimillionaires, is that as you near it, your investments become a lot more important. And also a small amount in higher risk stuff is also very, very important, because this happens to work out for me. But I went into it thinking that I really need to put a little bit, at least something, in higher risk things. So hence the Dogecoin thing, hence why I was trying to, have something that could have the potential of, having a multiple of 20x or so in the future. So that's my thought process over here. So that's my update here. Dogecoin did push me over into becoming a multi-millionaire. It gave me a profits of about 300,000 or so. I was sitting at $1.5 million, and then 1 year later, my net worth was 1.6 million. So according to data from 2 years ago, before all this crazy stuff happened, I was expecting my net worth to go up by 100,000 every year. And this is pretty dang good for most people, because in order to put in $100,000 cash, you need to work a job of, I don't know, like $150,000, $200,000. So the fact that I can grow my net worth by 100K every year, even before all the crazy stuff happened, it's pretty nice. And this shows the importance of having assets that would grow. My house was growing in value, so all of these contributed to it. Right here is my actual investments. The VOO, 206K in there. Tesla, 142K. Doge, 280K. Berkshire Hathaway, 100K. Berkshire B, by the way, they're B shares. I don't have one single share of Berkshire A. By the way, it's not doing too well. It's like I'm thinking of selling it because it's such a dog. It just doesn't move like like VOO or Tesla. Anyway, I have 166K of cash. I have 14K of random investments in Webull, so pretty insignificant. That's why I don't talk about what's in there. So if you look at the breakdown of investable assets here, outside of my home, it's worth about 1.1, 1.2 million right now. 23% in S&P 500, 16% in Tesla, 31% in Dogecoin. So it's pretty dang significant. Like almost 1/3 of my investment is in like a highly speculative cryptocurrency. Okay, it grew to there. Before it was just a few percent. So when it grows, are you supposed to sell some and buy other things? I don't know. It is what it is right now. Cash 18%, just in case everything tanks, I can pick up some more of whatever at a steep discount. But I am considering holding a little bit less cash. I might go like maybe 8%. Holding only like 60K of cash going forward. I'm still debating on this if I should invest more, probably into VOO or Tesla, less likely, but mainly focusing on VOO. And then 2% of my investable assets is in Webull. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to give me a like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.